My cushions are now prepared, so hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I have decided to make a video based on my most read blog post. It's had a lot more reads than the others by a mile, so I thought it'd be quite good to speak about it on here. And the topic is on body image anxiety. I think it's quite a common thing to experience. Everyone experiences it at some point. Anxiety over body image can come from all different sorts of sources. I think you can get it because of things that people might have said about you in the past, social media. There's a lot of influences that can create anxiety over the way you look. And I think especially in modern day, with all the expectations we have, it's more likely than ever that you will feel self-conscious over some element of your body and the way you look. I want to start by having a little talk about body shaming. I think body shaming is spoken about a lot more than it used to be, and skinny shaming particularly is something that was never really addressed until quite recently. From what I've seen anyway, perhaps people have seen differently, but I think it's really good that we've, as a society, have acknowledged that body shaming can come in all different forms. For me, I don't think body shaming has to be something that's directly and explicitly degrading about someone's body. I think it can just be little comments that are said without consideration, that are said without really thinking about that other person. So for example, people used to always comment on how big my thigh gap was, and they'd go on and on about it and say that they wish their only problem was being skinny. And I think that's quite a damaging thing to do. You wouldn't keep, it's not right to keep going on about the way that someone looks, especially particular things like that. Because for me now, my biggest insecurity is my thigh gap, basically based off of a lot of comments I used to get during PE a few years ago. I think it's really important to consider the sort of things you're saying to people about their body, because people look a certain way for a number of different reasons. They could be struggling with psychological eating disorders, health problems, it could be a genetic thing. We really shouldn't be commenting on people's weight when sometimes there's nothing that they can really do about it and it's something they're struggling with. And a comment that you might, not really think much of, that could really mean a massive thing to them. So those girls in PE, they probably didn't think anything of mentioning my thigh gap, but that's something that stuck with me for 3 years later. Now, I know that some people might try and make comments about people's weight because they're concerned about that person. For example, your weight could be damaging to your health. It could be putting you in danger. You could be suffering with an eating disorder that makes you extremely underweight or extremely overweight. That's could be putting your health at severe risk. And if you've got a friend who's struggling with that, it's natural to be worried about them and to want to help. But there's definitely ways of going about it. If you're just going to drop certain comments regarding their weight, that's really not that helpful. And I know people have mentioned stuff like that to me before and kept going like, "You're so skinny," to me, because they were concerned about me and my weight. But saying comments like that doesn't get through to someone, that doesn't help them. What you really should do is, if you're concerned about a friend's weight and perhaps their eating habits, is speak to them properly and say that you are concerned about them. Don't just say comments with no context. I think it's really helpful to make sure that your intentions are clear when you're speaking to a friend about their body. Obviously, there's some elements of body image anxiety that we ourselves can't control. What the people say around us, that's not something that we can stop, that's their choice. But there are some external things that really do have an impact on the way that you look at yourself. And that thing, most predominantly, is social media. It can be wonderful, but it can also be very damaging to young people, especially when there's all these different beauty ideals promoted to them and all these different things like weight loss teas. I think that's something that the Kardashians promote. Food substitutes and stuff like that just is something that we don't need to be exposed to. For me, I used to follow a lot of models, like loads of them, when I was a little younger, my entire Instagram feed was basically models, and it started to make me feel really rubbish. And so this bit of hair is really annoying me. Anyway, and so I decided to remove all of them for a long time, and that helped a lot. It was really, really good because I was able to feel good about myself on a day without comparing it to the way that a model would look, which is something that I'd do beforehand. Once I started to feel more confident in myself without looking at other people, I did start following more models again. But something that I'd really recommend is following models who have a similar build as you. For me, I'd follow models who resembled the way I look more than models who I wanted to look like. So these models can actually help you feel better about yourself when you can identify with them, I guess. So I definitely recommend that. That's really good. And I'm going to put the names of some body positive influencers and accounts that I really like on the video. So here are some of the names of people that I really, really like. I definitely think you should check out their Instagram accounts. They cover all sorts of different things, campaign for mental health, body positivity, and they're just really nice spaces to be in when you're feeling anxious about yourself or in general. So I think my general message, my overall message from this would be to really consider how we talk to people about their bodies, the comments that we could make that might be a bit jokey, you know, but could really stick with someone for a while. The ways in which we address to someone that we're concerned about them, but in a kind and approachable manner rather than one that seems quite daunting or harsh maybe. And I really think one of the most important things to do is to realise that some things are out of your control. You shouldn't worry about the things that you don't have power over changing. We can't change the way that people act around us. We can't change those influences, but we can change what we're exposed to. If we have a friend perhaps who's saying loads of horrible things to us about our bodies, we can choose to not surround ourselves with that person. If we see loads of posts all over social media that are making us feel bad about the way we look, making us want to change the way we look, we can just unfollow these people. It's about filtering the source of things that you're exposed to in your life. We don't have the ability to change what other people are doing, but we have the ability to change what we're doing. So it's really important that we make these lifestyle adjustments if we're worried about the way we look. And these are definitely ways that can really help you. I found that by removing such influences, it's really made me appreciate the way that I look and not feel quite as self-conscious. And now I follow models and influencers for the right reasons, to motivate me, to make me feel better about my body image rather than using them as someone that I would compare myself to. I definitely recommend you go and read my blog on this topic. It does cover the lifestyle changes that I made personally a lot more in depth rather than a general discussion, and some people have found it really helpful, and I hope that it can help other people also. I do think it's a really important topic and it affects so many more people than you'd realise. You might feel alone and feel guilty for perhaps not working out and feel you're the only person that doesn't when you see all these bikini models with abs and stuff. You could feel like you're the only person who doesn't have that. But I trust you that so many more people get anxious over the way they look than it may seem. I guarantee you that even these models get anxious about the way they look. Although it may not seem like it, they definitely do. Anyway, I really hope you've got a little something out of this discussion about body shaming and body image anxiety, and please do go and check out the accounts that I mentioned. They are really wonderful, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more discussions and tips on anxiety and my personal journey with it.